Attention Ford Explorer owners, we've got a major news flash for you. Ford is recalling nearly 1.9 million Explorer SUVs in the US. Now this isn't some small-scale operation we're talking about. This recall spans 8 years of production, from 2011 to 2019. The culprit? A trim piece that's been playing a dangerous game of hide-and-seek, loosening itself and posing a serious hazard to other drivers. Yes, you heard it right, a trim piece. It seems insignificant, but in the grand scheme of things, it's causing quite a stir. This isn't just a minor inconvenience or a cosmetic issue. It's a safety concern that's got regulators from both the US and Canada questioning Ford's initial decision to forego a recall. After a bit of back and forth, Ford is stepping up to the plate and taking action. This recall is not a minor issue, it's a safety hazard that needs immediate attention. So, what led to this massive recall? Let's delve into the backstory. This tale begins with the first ripples of discontent. Initial consumer complaints. Ford Explorer owners reported an issue with a trim piece that could come loose while driving, potentially posing a hazard to other road users. These complaints did not fall on deaf ears. US regulators took note and began an investigation into the matter. Around the same time, Canadian regulators also turned their attention to this issue, spurred on by similar complaints from their own Ford Explorer owners. The problem was now under scrutiny on two fronts, and it was clear that a deeper dive was needed. Ford, for its part, initially decided against a recall. Perhaps the problem seemed isolated or manageable at the time. However, as the investigation by regulators continued, the scale of the potential safety issue began to emerge. The loose trim piece was not a minor inconvenience, it was a hazard that could endanger lives on the road. This realization prompted a change of heart from Ford. The initial decision against a recall was reversed. The safety of Ford Explorer owners and other road users was paramount, and any risk, no matter how small, was unacceptable. So, in a move that prioritized safety over sales, Ford made the decision to recall nearly 1.9 million Explorer SUVs. This wasn't a decision taken lightly. It was a result of careful investigation, collaboration between regulators in two countries, and a commitment to safety from Ford. It was only after thorough investigation that this recall was deemed necessary. Safety comes first, after all. Now that we know the why and the how, the question remains, what does this mean for you, the Ford Explorer owners? The implications of the recall for Ford Explorer owners are significant, but not necessarily alarming. Ford has stated that they expect only about 5% of the recalled vehicles to be affected. This suggests that the vast majority of Explorers should be unaffected by the issue. What's more, there have been no reported crashes or injuries related to this problem. This is reassuring news indeed. However, this does not mean that owners should ignore the recall. Quite the contrary. Ford dealers are standing by to inspect the trim pieces on your Explorer, and if necessary, they'll add adhesive to hold them in place. This is a relatively simple fix, but one that's essential to ensure the continued safety of your vehicle. So while this might be an inconvenience, it's a necessary step to ensure your safety on the road. It's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to something as important as your vehicle. So take the time to get your Explorer inspected, and drive with the peace of mind that comes from knowing your vehicle is as safe as it can be. While this might be an inconvenience, it's a necessary step to ensure your safety on the road. So what's the next step for you, the Ford Explorer owners? Now, it's time for action. If you're a Ford Explorer owner, it's essential that you don't ignore this recall. As we've discussed, the issue lies with a trim piece that could potentially pose a hazard to other drivers. The good news is that Ford is proactive about this. Don't wait for an incident to happen. Reach out to your dealer for an inspection. Yes, it might seem like a hassle, but it's a small inconvenience compared to the risk of ignoring this recall. Remember, Ford expects only 5% of the recalled vehicles to be affected, but even so, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Moreover, you needn't worry about figuring this out on your own. Ford has said that starting from the 13th of March, owners will be notified. So keep an eye on your mail or email inbox for this important notice. Don't delay, get your vehicle inspected today. Remember, your safety is paramount.